Yeah,
you
we're
know,
all
'cause-
human.
Absolutely.
That happens.
Absolutely. We always resort to what's comfortable for us.
Mm-hmm.
But the important thing is that to live a healthy life, sometimes you got to be uncomfortable.
Absolutely. It brings change.
Absolutely.
It kind of...
And the Marine Corps taught me that.
Welcome to Posture and Purpose, where both healing and community come together. Make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Let's get into this episode with Dr. Michelle Carr-Frank.
So, with me today, I have Mr. Beau Navarre with the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Department. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for everything y'all do for Lafayette.
Yes,
we
ma'am.
appreciate all your hard work.
Absolutely.
I wanted to just pick your brain today a little bit about everything to do with your career and what things you're bringing to the table for Lafayette. But first, I'd like to ask you what drew you towards a career path in law enforcement.
So, basically, in a nutshell, I joined the United States Marine Corps at the age of 20. A little bit out of high school, I was, working Walmart, changing tires, and I just had this sense of service, and I wanted to do something more meaningful. Joining the Marine Corps, it set me on a different path. It really made a man out of me. Taught me a lot of good core values in life. And so from then on, when I chose to get out after my 4-year contract, I tossed around, worked in the oil field. I did a few different things, and I started doing private security. And it just so happened that I got mixed up with law enforcement, and I started in my hometown of Crowley. I was a reserve there for a while, and I just got the taste for it, I guess,
Yeah.
And it was just another way to continue to wear a uniform and serve, just in a different capacity.
So that's just been part of your passion, it sounds like, from day one,
Absolutely.
even from, a 20-year-old saying, okay, I need to do something more.
Correct. And I will say that I always tell people, I've been doing this a little while now, and I always tell people that there's a 3 to 5 year window in this profession where you get convicted, in a sense. You hit that wall of, is this really for me, or is this not for me?
Yeah.
And it's usually within that 3 to 5 year window. Some people, skate by and get by, but you get to a point where you come to that realization, is this really for me, or is this not? And in saying that, my point is that it's a calling. Doing this job and wearing that uniform, getting up every day, seeing these traumatic situations.
I can't imagine.
Dealing with everybody else's problems and dealing with your own.
Yes.
It's definitely a calling. It's something that you have to feel called to do.
And you obviously do.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you are now a staff sergeant.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
how does that connect you with the development of what you have going on at the department now? Tell us about the wellness program.
Yes, ma'am. So, the sheriff had been mulling that idea over for a while. Within the last 5 years, we've had 2 on-duty suicides.
Oh, no.
Particularly in the school resource officer section, which I was in. So both of them
Really?
were my friends.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, it's unfortunately it's a part of the life we live today, and I hate to say that it's such a stigma, suicide. But when you're in a profession, especially like military, law enforcement, that's why we see it so much in there, almost to a double percentile. But
Wow. You have to talk about it. You have to bring it to the forefront.
You have to. So with that being said, there were some other health deaths and things like that throughout the sheriff's department. The sheriff really pushed to, we had other people in the agency that were doing different jobs, and it was like, hey, we need one person to really focus on this
Health and wellness.
Bring it to another level. It's not new to law enforcement, but it's new to this area. So, and that's the great thing about our sheriff, honestly, is he's very progressive and trying to be the first or set a standard of professionalism and innovation.
Well, that's good to hear.
He really is, and me being in the position that I'm in now is a direct, statement to that. It's a direct testament, and I tell people that all the time when I talk to them. Hey, look, our sheriff really does care about us. If you don't believe that, why am I standing in front of you? Right. Because he's putting his foot forward and saying, hey, I care, and this is how we're going to start it.
And he's starting
showing,
with health and wellness, which
Correct.
starts with mental.
Correct.
And it, of course, exudes into the physical. But
Correct.
Tell me what practices you guys have in place. Do you have a gym you work with, or is there mental health counselors, or do y'all have certain things in place?
So part of the position in what I do is to help enhance what we already have. So we have our gym, which now we're building a new gym. Probably within the beginning of the year it should be done.
Wonderful.
They've already broke ground. They got a lot of it, the foundation done. So we're excited about that
good.
because I always say this, and I'm being funny but not funny. It looks like a mini Red Laurel. It's like
good. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not going to be huge like Reds, but
it's okay.
It's going to have an upstairs track. It's got CrossFit stuff downstairs.
Nice.
I mean, state-of-the-art equipment. It's really nice. So we're doing that. And like I said, part of my position is to go out in the community and find these resources that enhance what we already have.
Yeah,
so
that's how I found you.
Correct. Correct. And so in saying that, we did the partnership with Dr. Swallow with the sleep apnea mouthpieces and things like that. And just going out and finding those resources and anything that we can do to help us be better, healthier, and well.
With trusted professionals.
Correct.
Well, that always helps. Is there a turning point that that took this in the right direction with health and wellness? Did the Sheriff's Department go to some type of seminar and they talked about the importance of it, or was it those unfortunate, tragic events that brought y'all
I
to
think
this
it
place?
was a combination of both. I think I think, like I said, this is really taken off in the law enforcement world and first
Wonderful.
responders in general. A lot of people, we have our comms people, dispatchers, they went to a conference and they're like, man, the biggest part of the conference was wellness. Then you had, just everywhere. Everywhere you go now with conferences for our profession. Even the school resource officers just went to the national SRO conference, and they were like, man, a guy's texting me. He's like, dude, they're talking about all the stuff you've been talking about.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
So
great.
It's really something that's taken off.
And it affects so many people, from the person that gets that first phone call to the officers or the EMS that show up on scene or whatever it is. There's such a very, dynamic course that it has to go through for everything to work. And it doesn't always work perfect, as we know, because that's life in general. But thank goodness that y'all are really attending to your officers like that.
Absolutely. So if you don't mind, I'll kind of explain a little bit of what got me here.
Please.
If that's okay.
That is complete.
So,
whatever you'd like to share with us.
So when I'm at 14 years in law enforcement, in between there was a 3.5 year break. So like I said, at that 3 to 5 year mark, I was a little over 5 years.
Okay.
And I was burnt out. I had, kind of bounced around a couple agencies, dealing with the politics, dealing with the different types of law enforcement in these different areas, the different types of people.
Fun stuff. I guess you learn a lot.
Absolutely. So I decided to take a break, and I went in the all field, and then I worked for PHI, a great company. Traveled the world with them, doing the corporate thing. And, when Corporal Michael Middlebrook got killed tragically, that kind of, again, that calling, it tugged on my heart, and I really felt called to come back to this profession.
Did you know him personally?
I did not know him personally. I'm sure in passing we've met, but I didn't know him personally. We weren't friends, but it tugged on me.
Still, yeah.
So I applied with the Sheriff's Department. That was the only place I wanted to go. I saw what Sheriff Garber was doing with the agency and just the change that was being made. And so I applied, and he gave me a chance. And so in saying that, like I said, my goal was to come back and help the younger generation understand the differences and the things that happen. And, hey, look, you need to look out for this. You need to, focus on this. And
almost like a mentoring.
Correct. That's really what I wanted to do. And, now going on 8 years being at the Sheriff's Department, I kind of started my own business, doing my own thing. I've lost 6 people in my life, in my professional life,
Really?
to suicide.
6.
So
I'm so sorry to hear that.
4 in law enforcement and 2 in military service.
That will change you.
Correct. And part of me leaving in that burnout was that depression.
Yes.
And so, I focused on me. I changed the way I was living, the way I was focusing on things, and I started my own business and tried, doing my own education, paying for my own schooling and things. And obviously COVID hit, and that kind of went flat.
Right.
But there's always a light at the end of the tunnel,
Hope.
And there's always hope. And it really was such a blessing for me that this position presented itself, because now I'm able to do what I love but still wear the uniform.
And it sounds like you're the perfect person for it.
That's what everybody keeps saying.
So that's good. And again, that's how I got to know you. And I definitely wanted to let other people know that we have you in our community.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course the sheriff as well. It sounds like he's turning things in a positive direction.
Absolutely.
But I want to ask you, how do you encourage your own physical wellness?
So obviously it's always been at the forefront for me. I've always focused on different diets and different workout routines. It's just something that's always been important to me.
So weights, like weight training?
Just any and everything.
Okay.
I mean, if you more than likely I've done it.
Okay.
And I've always had this standard in my mind. I'm just different. I'm a thinker. And
Different
I'm always,
is good.
I'm
Different
always
is good.
trying to, I guess in a sense, outdo myself or prove something. And I've always had this mentality of, there's a guy named, I believe his name is Drew Manning. His whole thing is fit to fat to fit. And so I've had that philosophy of, I want to be the one who can show and say, I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've tried all
Living
kinds of
proof.
stuff. Correct. And it's a holistic approach. I try to be mindful of everything. When I see that maybe I'm putting on a little weight or whatever the case may be, or I'm eating too much, I always try to revisit that and say, hey, look, I need to back off of this. I need to start doing this again. And I just get back in a routine.
Yeah, we're all human.
Absolutely.
That happens.
Absolutely. We always resort to what's comfortable for us.
Mm-hmm.
But the important thing is that to live a healthy life, sometimes you got to be uncomfortable.
Absolutely. It brings change.
Absolutely.
It kind of...
And the Marine Corps taught me that, right?
Right, I guess so.
Right.
I would imagine. I would definitely imagine. Well, what is your ultimate goal for this program? Like, what would you like to see happen? I know it's kind of in its infancy at this point, but what would you like to see happen?
Honestly, it's going in such a great direction.
Good.
I mean, it's unbelievable how responsive everybody's been towards it and how much attention it's already getting.
They needed someone to come out and say it.
Correct. It's crazy to me, because honestly, I knew I have a quiet confidence about myself, so I know what I bring to the table, but I knew the challenges, because the problem is culture.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to change that culture. And
I hate to say it, but men. Sometimes
true.
the worst.
It's so true because honestly, it's you know, we're raised and taught that, you know, you just got to be tough. You got to put on this facade and just do it, and, you know, leave it alone and move forward. And more so in the military and in the law enforcement community, you can't show weakness. But now we're doing a very good job of changing that culture. And that's kind of like, that's what I mean by it's so surprising, because, but it also helps again with having the right person.
Yes.
The things that I've done, my background,
Right.
people
say, "I've been
respect
there."
me. So when I come to the table and I say, hey guys, like, I've been there, I've done this, I've done that, and you need to realize that we got to change that.
You're peeling off the layers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You got to get past that tough exterior sometimes.
Absolutely.
And look, tough exteriors are good sometimes. You need them in the military. You need them in law enforcement. But healing mentally and physically, sometimes you got to realize things.
And honestly, it's we have to drive home this message to them, and they need to understand that culture change doesn't mean that it's a complete change, right? We just need to stop thinking with the stigma of I'm this, I'm that, and I can't get help.
Right.
We can still be tough guys and do our job like we need to be, but we also need to understand that sometimes vulnerability is a good thing.
Yes.
You can't expect to show up at 100% every day and help people if you're still wounded.
Exactly.
The
Wounded can mean a
can't
lot of
help
things too.
The wounded.
Right.
So
right.
we
And
have to
sometimes
fix that.
strength means knowing when you need help.
Absolutely.
So, and that's hard for some people, you know,
Absolutely.
myself included, to admit sometimes, you know, because you want to be, you know, I'm a business owner, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, you know, sometimes I run my household, ask anyone that knows me.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, everyone needs a break. Everyone needs that outlet, whether it's a physical well-being or going out to the shooting range and getting some
Right.
stress out, whatever the case is, but to recognize it and address it. So
Absolutely. And that's what I focus. I focus on driving that message home is, hey, you have to have an outlet.
yes.
And you have to have a confidant, whether it's a friend or
Okay.
if it's your wife or your partner. You have to have somebody that you can go vent to, because
Right.
if we don't, or we vent to somebody we can't trust, then there's
yes.
more problems.
Exactly.
And that's part of the psyche of this profession. That's the culture that we're trying to change.
So cool. Well, it's so glad to hear you're doing this and bringing it. Is there a message
ma'am.
like for people listening, for the community who don't really know, we go about our little daily lives and we don't know the struggles that you guys put yourselves under. Is there a message or some sort that you'd like the community to know?
The biggest thing that I would impart to a community is, and I tell our deputies the same thing, you have to understand that when you're dealing with somebody, especially in a traumatic situation or experience, you don't know what they're going through in their personal life. And so my message would be that we all have to do a little bit of self-reflection and have a little bit of empathy when we're dealing with these types of situations. So if you encounter a law enforcement officer that's not to your liking, I'll keep it PG.
I think
to your liking.
I think we all get it.
Understand that they may be going through some really tough things. You know, there's a lot of things that we balance in this profession, our personal lives, the mental strains and stresses of, the politics of it all.
I can't imagine.
The keeping up an image in the public. Some people battle addictions of many types.
Yes.
There's so many different things, and ultimately, I will say this: the two biggest things that will surely ensure that you die is sleep deprivation and dehydration. So, people are drinking sodas and energy drinks all day.
Yes.
They're not hydrating properly. They're not eating properly. So there's so many factors. So again, my message would be just try to be a little empathetic and understand that we all join for the same purpose, most of us, to serve, to protect our communities, and to try to make a good difference, a positive difference in our communities. And sometimes we can be human too.
Yes, you all are human, of course. That's like when I walk into the room with a patient, and they may be, I'll just say, a difficult patient, okay? They may be hurting. They may have waited a month before they came to see us. And so sometimes, it's not the most pleasant visit.
Right.
But I have to put myself in the same situation as you. Now, of course, not as I'm not comparing myself to you at all.
No, absolutely.
But the message of being empathetic and having patience with people, I don't know what they went through at home. I don't know, the car accident that they went through and they're hurting because of. I don't know if they're dealing with getting a new car and the finances and everything else. We don't know if an officer shows up to help us change a flat and they're in a hurry. We just want them to be a nice guy. But they may have just come from a horrific, incident at a home or something. So we just have to, in general, no matter what we do in life, we have to have patience and empathy with people.
Absolutely. Like you said, I mean, it could be anything. We've had situations where deputies were going to the gas station to get a meal or a drink, something to drink, and somebody pulls up in the parking lot and hands them a baby that's not breathing. And they're
Are you serious?
Instantly going into
goodness.
CPR mode. And I mean, so again, it could be something like that. And then internally they're dealing with well, if this child doesn't make it, I failed, right? Or the world's not fair because, so there's all these things that happen in the psyche that affect everything else. Over cortisol production, sleep deprivation, all these things. Absolutely. So again, it all plays together. It's all the same thing. But in saying what you said, we had a leadership class a while back, and they had a guy, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, solid guy. This guy was, he's taught at the FBI National Academy. He's solid. He's from South Carolina, and he kind of said the same thing to a degree. He, when you said, I'm not trying to compare, we should compare because leadership in our profession is no different than balancing a family. And that's how it should be treated. And that's the problem. Is the culture needs to change so that we can have effective leaders who are leading like a father in a household.
Yes. And
he explained, he's like, it helped when that switch flipped for him, it changed the way he looked at everything. He said, I can't talk to my daughter a certain way because I wouldn't want to talk to my officers that way, and vice versa.
Interesting.
And so he just laid it out like a family system, and it was like leadership. And I was like, wow.
That spoke to you. You kind of have to take a step back and really let that sit in.
Right. I mean, I got goosebumps just talking about it because it's that simple. We overcomplicate too much today in this world.
Humans in general. We've always done that, I guess. We're good at it. So have you noticed other law enforcement agencies, either in our state or elsewhere? I know you said you attended a lot of conventions and whatnot. Are they also making these changes?
So we have, there are some agencies that are, if they have like a wellness program or they're trying to develop a wellness program. I know I've reached out to several. I won't say the agency's names, but they've reached out to me and I've helped them because I'm building this from the ground up. I mean, I'm the first, wow. I'm laying the foundation.
That's wonderful.
And so it's
what a legacy to leave.
Right.
For years to come, people are going to benefit.
I said, it's a complete blessing. I really did not expect to be in this position.
But it came from your personal experience and passion for helping others.
Absolutely.
I mean, what better reason to do it, right?
Absolutely.
So I always like to ask each patient at the end of our chat, how do you maintain your posture while pursuing your purpose in life?
So I will say this. I always try to stay grounded. I have a deep-rooted faith. That's not for everybody, but my faith is strong. I consider myself a warrior for Christ. So Ephesians 6 is like a big thing for me. So I just try to maintain that balance of reflection time, self-reflecting, making sure that, I have one of those zero gravity massage chairs at home. I try to go spend time in that. I have a sauna. I try to get in the sauna and just doing things that, you have to take time for yourself.
Find the thing that you like.
That's the biggest problem with our profession is we're so busy trying to help everyone else. We forget that we need time for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Even if being a single parent,
yeah.
if you're a single parent, I would say the same thing. We, especially mothers, they devote their lives to raising their kids, and it's everything in the kids. And you have to learn that you have to take time for yourself.
Right. Just like spinal health. I tell my patients, it's not going to just happen.
Yes.
You have to get out there, whether you like to swim or jog or play tennis. Get out there and do something.
Absolutely.
Not only to keep moving and stay healthy, but also for your mental health.
Absolutely.
And stress.
I'll try to go get massages at least once a month. Matter of fact, I'm going to be coming to see you soon because I need to get cracked up.
Well, okay. Well, crack is a bad word here. We
I'm
just
sorry.
Adjust.
I'm sorry.
But that's
sorry.
okay. I'll forgive you this time.
It's a law enforcement thing.
That's okay. No, I won't hold it against you. But thank you so much for being here.
No,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate it, and I thank you for the rest of from the Lafayette community for doing everything that you guys do and for really spearheading this project. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir. Until next time, sit up straight, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay adjusted.
Thanks for listening to the Posture and Purpose podcast with Dr. Michelle Carr Frank. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Until next time.